Hi everyone, it's Chenso from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about Season 2, Episodes 4 through 6 of Netflix's Million Dollar Secret. In last week's drop, we saw the rise and fall of eliminated secret millionaire Alti, eliminations of Natalie, Tarek, and Lauren T, and rancher Caleb crumbling under the pressure, passing the role of secret millionaire on to Nick. Before I dive in, links below to my playlist to catch up on my previous recaps. If you liked the video, consider liking and subscribing as you watch along on Netflix. But let's dive into it, starting with Episode 4, titled 1,999 Problems. Nick finds out he's the new millionaire, celebrating, repeating what I guess is his catchphrase, "How you doing?" Nick meets with Fancy Pants Peter, who gives Nick a secret agenda. If he succeeds and isn't voted out at the next elimination, he'll win a double barrel kill shot. He'll be able to eliminate 2 players at elimination. Through this, the player who actually got the most votes may not go home. If he fails or doesn't attempt his agenda, he'll have 4 votes against him at elimination. With 10 players left, they're basically telling him, if you don't do this, screw you. For his agenda, he has to tell 4 people who their celebrity doppelgangers are by the next trophy room ceremony. Peter tells the other players that the millionaire is competing for the double barrel kill shot. Kat is still feeling guilty about sending her friend Lauren T home for no reason to protect Caleb, who now is no longer the millionaire. So players head to breakfast, where the chefs have made sandwiches and watermelon. Culinary arts, am I right, ladies? Melissa is forcing the others to stick together. She's being militant about it, and she notices when Nick tries to split up the group. He's struggling to get into his agenda, not knowing a lot of celebrities. He tells Hunter he looks like Matthew McConaughey, which he does not. Players head to Peter's vintage cottage, where they're split into 2 teams. The white team, Daisy, Kevin, Casey, Lauren G, and Hunter, and Team Red, Melissa, Nick, Kat, Umiko, and Caleb. Teams will be racing through 2 identical wine cellars, completing tasks along the way. The first team to complete the activity will win their way into the trophy room for a chance at a clue to the millionaire's identity. So they get started with their challenge. Teams need to choose a player to sacrifice at every checkpoint, and those players won't get to go to the trophy room if their team wins the challenge. Lauren and Melissa are first to sit out. They have to stack corks in round 2. Caleb and Daisy can't stack them, so they're out for their teams. Finally, they need to find the right bottle of wine. Both teams find their bottles, sitting out Kat and Hunter. Later, players meet with Peter, who tells them that Kevin and Casey completed the challenge fastest, making them the winners, heading to the trophy room. Kevin quickly tells Casey that he'll let her get the clue for their team. Kat update, she still feels bad about dogging her bestie, Lauren T. They head to breakfast, where this looks like a delicious French toast. Lauren notices Kat is upset, sitting at the sad table alone. She thinks Kat might have an agenda, but again, Kat is upset because she brutally ran a bus 7 times over her soul sister Lauren T. Caleb is convinced that Melissa was attempting an agenda because she offered to share her sandwich. Melissa joins them in her watermelon moo and implicates herself when she admits to asking the group to cut the cheese. Casey gets some heat for starting the conversation about rom-coms the day before. Nick tells Caleb he looks like Clint Eastwood in his hat. Caleb doesn't notice. He's too busy running his campaign against Melissa. Melissa continues her investigation. She is on Casey's case about the rom-com conversation. Nick is flirting with Umiko, telling her he wants to be a team and that she's like Beyonce. She's loving this flirting. They make a deal to go together to Final Four. Hunter suggests to the group that they shouldn't let suspect Casey get the trophy room clue. In the last minute, Nick gets his agenda completed, saying Kevin looks like Tom Cruise, so Nick will get the double barrel kill shot. In the trophy room, Casey agrees that Kevin should get the clue. Peter tells Kevin the millionaire was born the year Fight Club, The Matrix, and American Pie came out in theaters. Back with the group, Kevin asks everyone what year they were born and shares the clue with them. Melissa celebrates big, knowing she's been hard cleared. They figure out the movies came out in 1999, which brings the suspect list down to Nick, Kat, Kevin, and Umiko, who all also came out in 1999. Players deliberate. Lauren thinks the millionaire is sad Kat, but Casey thinks Nick has been acting uncomfortable since the clue was read. Umiko tells Nick that people are saying his name, so he makes a plan to tell everyone that Kat's been high-fiving everyone all day and has been acting nervous. The safe players meet to compare notes. Hunter brings up that Nick said he looked like Matthew McConaughey, so they head to elimination with Nick and Kat, the main suspects. At their dinner, Peter confirms that the millionaire completed their mission. Casey quickly accuses Nick, saying he's been acting funny. Nick turns the conversation to Kat, who's a high-five-aholic. Lauren also says she's voting Kat. Kat tells them if they vote for her, 2 people are going home, and Nick swears on his papa's cross there's no money in his box. Kat gets emotional, maybe still upset that she gutted her twin flame Lauren T like a fish in the previous round. So players vote, with Nick casting his 2 kill shots. Peter reveals that the guests failed to find the millionaire, so their votes are trash, and they're just gonna do the double barrel, which leads us to episode 5 titled A Silent Assassin. It's revealed that the first kill shot and player eliminated is Casey, who had a quiet first few episodes, but came alive here in this batch. From what we saw, she was doing great in challenges. She didn't seem to do anything wrong. Yes, she was part of a conversation about rom-coms, but that was just one conversation. She was carrying herself well and was giving queen energy, but gets plucked off here randomly after winning the challenge. You really can't do anything right around here. And the second kill shot and eliminated player is Melissa, who we saw taking the game very seriously, and there's nothing wrong with that. I prefer people who want to play, though there seems to be no real benefit in finding the millionaire on this show. She had a fun drama about her. I like someone who collapses to the ground in excitement. That does it for me. And she had some fun outfits. Following the eliminations, players agree that Kat got the most votes, so she's not the millionaire. Kat is convinced that Nick threw her under the bus. The next day, with Kat cleared, the suspect list is down to Kevin, Nick, and Amiko. Nick meets with Peter to get his next secret agenda. He has to clip 3 clothespins to random guests. If he completes this agenda, he'll get 2 rewards. First, the trophy room would be cancelled, and 2 votes against him will be cancelled. If he fails, he'll have 4 votes against him, and the clue revealed in the trophy room will be more obvious than usual. Were we all thinking, is the clue gonna be the millionaire's full name is Nicholas? Umiko gets her own secret agenda. They say she was chosen at random. Sure, Jan. She has to hit 3 guests in the head with a beach ball and make sure the current millionaire survives the vote. If she completes these, she'll become the millionaire herself. If not, she'll get 4 votes against her at elimination. So players head to their beach party, where Nick is looking for players to clip with his clothespins, and Amiko quickly just dives into it, bopping a few people on the head in quick succession with her ball. Boop, boop, boop. Nick sneaks up in clothespins Lauren and Caleb, but they both realize there's clothespins on them while on a walk with Nick, so he's caught, and the rest of the afternoon becomes everyone telling each other that Nick is the millionaire. Nick flirtily puts a clothespin on Amiko's finger, which achieves his agenda, so the trophy room and 2 votes against him will be cancelled. Later, Peter invites the players to a boozy casino night where he reveals the millionaire completed their agenda, and there will be no trophy room. Instead, they'll play in a challenge, and the winner of the challenge will have immunity from elimination. They're split into 2 teams: Team Dirty, Lauren, Daisy, Kevin, and Kat, and Team Twisty, Nick, Hunter, Umiko, and Caleb. They'll face off in a gambling challenge, bluffing each other, trying to get a higher number. This is where Hunter reveals to us he's been lying about his career. He's really a professional poker player, helping Team Twisty get to a big lead early, which they follow through to a victory, eliminating Team Dirty, who sucked at this. Now they're split into 2 teams of 2, with Hunter and Amiko taking on Caleb and Nick. Here, they'll be playing blackjack, but Hunter proposes the suspects, Umiko and Nick, should not win immunity. He thinks they should throw the game to Caleb, so Hunter does throw the challenge, eliminating himself and Amiko. Nick doesn't want to throw it, which annoys Hunter, but even if he wasn't the millionaire, he's a suspect. Why would he throw the game? The losers compare notes. Kat fills Amiko in that Nick is the millionaire, so she's got to sort that out. Back inside, Nick and Caleb play one final bluffing game, all about reading each other. They play this out, it's very boring. In the end, Caleb wins the challenge and immunity. When they rejoin the group, Hunter is still annoyed with Nick for trying to get immunity. Later, Amiko reveals to us she used to work in intelligence in the Navy. She invites Nick to meet at the hot tub. Amiko decides their plan should be using Hunter's personality against him to get him out of the game. Not to put pressure on their relationship, but this scene was missing a little smooch. The next day, Amiko starts her campaign with Daisy, telling her they should be girl strong and that they should keep the millionaire around and just vote out Hunter. Daisy loves that plan. She's down. Daisy gets to work on Lauren and Caleb's votes, and Umiko campaigns to Kat and Kevin. Caleb tells us Umiko needs to think with her head, not her, you know. Her what, Caleb? Her what? Kat and Caleb fill Hunter in that there are rumblings about targeting him as players head to the elimination dinner. Hunter gets things started, calling out the plans against him. Hunter says Nick was selfish, not throwing the challenge, and that it's blatantly obvious that Nick was the millionaire. Caleb advocates their job is to find the millionaire, not just to throw people under the bus. Hunter says the bigger threats are the players who are trying to swing and control votes, not him who's trying to help the group. Nick doesn't even try to deny he's the millionaire. He simply says the group should try to be on the millionaire's good side, wink wink. So players head to the vote, which leads us to episode 6, titled House of Dummies. Peter reveals to the group that the millionaire has 2 votes against them nullified, and the player who had the most votes and is eliminated is Hunter, who reveals to them that he's really a professional poker player. Nick, Lauren, Kat, and Amiko were votes for Hunter. So we lose Hunter here, who last week I was convinced was going to win the show. He was everyone's friend, great at challenges, a secret poker player, which is always fun on a strategy show. His strategy to be a player who's always trying to help the group was not bad. He becomes yet another victim of the show, as this was clearly the end result the producers wanted. He's fun. He'd be great on a show like The Challenge. We have barely scratched the surface with this person. After Hunter's departure, Peter reveals to the group that there was a second agenda completed, and that player has stolen the money from the millionaire. Yumiko meets with Peter to get her agenda, where the reward will be a kill shot, but if she doesn't complete it, she'll have 3 votes against her in elimination. Her agenda is she has to say 5 phrases in other languages to the other players, including ciao, ciao and hasta la vista. Players meet for breakfast, where Daisy tells us she's convinced that Umiko had an agenda last round to convince them to keep the millionaire in the game. Caleb meets with his ally Umiko. She throws 4 of her phrases into the conversation quickly. She says ciao, mahalo, hasta la vista, bonjour, Daisy. She feels they all went over his head. Inside, Daisy fills Kevin and Lauren in on her suspicions of Umiko. At night, players head to their challenge, where they'll be running around a corn maze, answering Crow's riddles, with the goal of finding Peter in the center of the maze. They'll be in 2 teams of 3, with one player running it on their own. Umiko proposes they let Nick go by himself, as he's the only clear non-millionaire. She also thinks they should let Nick win the challenge, but Daisy wants to play the challenge fairly, which annoys Umiko. Teams are Nick by himself, Lauren, Umiko, and Kevin, and Daisy, Kat, and Caleb. The first team to find Peter wins access to the trophy room. They get started. Through the challenge, Daisy continues to be competitive and frantic, which makes Caleb suspicious of Daisy. In the end, Lauren, Umiko, and Kevin win the challenge. Later, Kevin tells Umiko that Daisy is coming for her, so Umiko plans to use that as ammo against Daisy. Umiko circles back to Caleb to finish her agenda, throwing in a konnichiwa and completing the mission. The challenge winners head to the trophy room. They all want the clue, but Lauren doesn't trust Umiko and pushes for them to choose her. They do, so Lauren meets with Peter, who tells her the clue that the millionaire used to be an intelligence analyst. She says, in this house of dummies, and oop, Lauren said the thing. So Lauren brings this clue back to the challenge winners. Kevin thinks it has to be someone who's older to have that experience, which gives Umiko more to use against Daisy. At breakfast, Lauren shares the clue. They question who's been in the military. Nick is convinced that Umiko is the millionaire. Since she's from Virginia and she's smart, he wants to protect Umiko and help her to target Daisy. Nick hints to Umiko that he knows, but she plays her part in denying it. The other players also feel like living in Virginia makes Umiko a potential government employee, so players head to the elimination dinner. On the way, Umiko tells us that she's considering using her kill shot on Nick to cover her tracks. At dinner, Peter tells them the millionaire did win a kill shot. Players try to unpack what an intelligence agent could be and do. Kat feels the mission last round could have been to keep the millionaire around, which implicates Umiko. Umiko says Daisy was being suspicious, being competitive in the challenge, and Nick backs her up, even pointing out that Daisy was trying to guide votes toward Hunter last round. Players get to voting, and in the end, Umiko gets the most votes and is eliminated, revealing to the other guests that she is the millionaire. She gets emotional, saying she wanted to represent her communities, break stereotypes, and shares about her profession. So we lose Umiko here, another big loss, one of the larger characters of the season. Anytime she was on screen, she was so dynamic and in a way fascinating. She was involved in the big moves, part of keeping around Caleb, helping him with his hat mission, executing the strategy to keep Nick around. So it made sense to find out she was an ex-intelligence analyst. I liked her strategy around the agendas. She attacked them head on and got them done quickly without skulking around awkwardly. So she accomplished both the beach ball agenda and the languages agenda without being suspected, which is major. Add on to that she was willing to mix it up and have a little showmance. There's a lot going on here, and all of it entertaining and good. I really hope we see her again. Intelligence analyst Umiko for traders. Following Umiko's elimination, Peter tells them there will be a new millionaire and skips away gleefully. Players head to their rooms, and the episode ends on a cliffhanger. So we have our final 6 ahead of next week's finale, and I have to admit, the lack of diversity heading into this final batch of episodes is very noticeable, and I don't think we're left with the most entertaining group here. Some of them we don't know much about, like what's Lauren's deal? I feel like we just know her name is Lauren, and she doesn't like corn mazes. Are we going to find out that Lauren is really a warden at a maximum security prison, and Kevin is really a graduate from Russia's Bolshoi Ballet Academy? Will Kat ever fully get over being Benedict Arnold and feeding Lauren tea to the hungry wolves? Is Daisy really just going to hug her way to $1 million after all? All of my winner picks have gone away. At this point, I think Nick will come through and avenge Umiko. He played his tushy off this episode, survived a brutal grilling, and being exposed as millionaire, showing he's got some strategic ability. But that's all I have to say about this batch of episodes. Let me know in the comments what you thought of these episodes and the eliminations, and what are your predictions for the finale. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week with more $1 Million Secret. Until then, you know where to find me. Bye.